Well, new video shows what appears to be an angry, embarrassed mother taking out some frustration on her teenage son after discovering he was one of the troublemakers in Baltimore. Take a look. Well, you can hear the woman shout, "I know that's you," before she rips off the teenager's mask. This video, as you can imagine, is getting a lot of attention online. Baltimore's police commission even took notice.
And if you saw on one scene, you had one mother who grabbed their child who had a hood on his head, and she started smacking him on the head because she was so embarrassed. I wish I had more parents that took charge of the kids out there tonight.
All of this, of course, came just hours after the funeral of Freddie Gray, who died of severe spinal cord injury while in police custody. His family, Gray's family, denounced the violence, saying, "I want you all to get justice for my son." I'm reading the quote here, but I don't do it like this here. I don't think that's for Freddie. I don't think the violence, I think the violence, she says, is wrong. That was his twin sister, Frederica.
She's the tough love mom who inspired the nation during the Baltimore riots. Toya Graham tried to smack some sense into her son when she caught him taking part in the upheaval that rocked the city almost exactly 1 year ago.
Get over here!
Toya's no-nonsense attitude made her a national celebrity and earned her the title
Mom of the Century. I wish all of the parents in Baltimore would take on her spirit.
Hi.
How are you, young man? And here they are today. I caught up with Toya and her son Michael, now 16.
After a while, everything settled down and pretty much got back to normal.
Looking back, she says there's only one thing she would change about her outburst.
I wouldn't have used so much foul language. But everything else, when it came down to my son and getting him from down there, I would have did the same thing.
A lot has happened to this family since that famous moment. For one thing, Michael is no longer in high school. He's now enrolled in a Job Corps program.
Not because of his education, but to give him a sense of direction of doing something different and trying to get him away from Baltimore.
I visited the flashpoints of the Baltimore disruptions, which were triggered by the death of Freddie Gray. More than 200 people were arrested during the state of emergency that followed. This is what Inside Edition's Stephen Fabian experienced last year.
You can feel the heat coming off this fire right behind me. It looks like this thing was just set.
And here's that store today, still a burned out shell. Otis Knight owns a convenience store that was looted in those terrible days.
How much worth of stuff did you lose?
At least $80,000, $90,000.
He still has the surveillance video from that day showing looters helping themselves to his stock.
You recognize any of these people?
No comment.
You got a good spirit. I'd be pissed.
I mean, what can I do? What you gonna do? You know, you can't dwell. Things happen in life. What are you gonna do? Nobody got physically hurt.
Remember this aerial footage? The CVS pharmacy ablaze. One of the most disturbing images from those nights of violence occurred right here, when the CVS store was looted and burnt to the ground. It has since been rebuilt and is reopened for business. I tagged along with Detective Donnie Moses of the Baltimore Police Department. He told me he and his fellow officers are changing tactics as a result of the anti-cop rage that erupted last year.
We reach the young kid, we get out, we interact with someone's grandmother, the softer side of policing, the actual serving side of it. It's something that has to happen one officer at a time with one citizen at a time.
Kevin Davis is Baltimore's new police commissioner.
No matter what neighborhood I go to, people just yearn to see police officers out on foot patrol. So that's something that we've really put a lot of effort behind to prevent what happened last April and May from ever happening again.
I want to speak on this because when it occurred, they called Toya Graham a hero mom, but I didn't see a hero mom. I saw a failed parent. I saw a failed fucking parent, man. She's a mother of six, a single mother of six, and her son was out participating in these protests. I understand how she felt about it, but The way she went about it was all wrong. Beating him and yelling at him and cursing him in the street. She emasculated him on the world stage and made herself look like trash. And by extension and the dominant's point of view, reinforced negative stereotypes. This is why they say the black woman is the backbone of the community and shit, because they behave like garbage men, treating up their own trash. They make bad decisions. And I think this was a bad decision to confront your son in that way. She didn't even try to talk to him. I didn't see her talking to him and him being reticent. As soon as he saw her, he started leaving. When she could have just escorted him out of the area, but she was beating and kicking him and chasing him and screaming. And she actually took his ski mask off. He had the wherewithal to disguise himself, and she took his mask off, and he could have caused some charges. And she wasn't thinking about that. She was busy thinking about herself, doing something to make herself feel better because she's a shitty parent. And what did she do? What do some of these women do? They beat on their sons, man. They beat on them like animals. What is he going to learn from you beating his ass like a wild animal? You should be up on charges. That was child abuse. And you emasculated your son. You can't teach him to be a man. You don't know the first thing about being a fucking man. And just think, if there were more women like you back in the 50s and the 60s, there would have never been no motherfucking civil rights movement. Wouldn't have been shit. You ever see Martin Luther King's wife acting like that? They was taking bullets up in their house and bombs and shit. Do you have the intestinal fortitude to deal with something like that? Where are we going to get the next leaders of our community and shit? It's not in your black church, okay? It's not amongst your ranks. It's not going to be a kid you raise. It's not going to be somebody like you. You're part of the problem. You're one of the reasons that the community is fucked up. You want to do something for your son? Stop interacting with him. Let him free. And you did such a good job that he dropped out of fucking high school. And he got a fucking GED. Yeah, he got a general education diploma and shit. Largely as a part of your efforts. You got 6 motherfucking kids. What's the fate of those other kids? I don't see the mainstream media asking you about your other fucking kids. Or the whereabouts of these kids' fathers. However many they may be. Or maybe they're all one person. Maybe you had 6 kids with one guy and he didn't never wife you up. How dare you embarrass and emasculate your own son on the world stage? And now he's going to be a shitty rapper. Okay, that's what you want him to be. A shit rapper. Okay, you didn't want him to be a doctor or a lawyer, a politician, a fucking astronaut, the king of the goddamn world. He's going to be another shitty rapper. And I think your relationship with him is suspect, okay? All right? It's a lot of inappropriate shit there. And by the way, Miss Graham, you can kiss my ass.
I'm going to encourage my son every time he does right, something positive.
That's Toya Graham's focus these days. She can no longer discipline her son or keep him in the house. Michael Singleton is 21 years old now. But 5 years ago, he was a young high school student who got caught up in the unrest in the aftermath of Freddie Gray's death.
I just wanted the message to be out there that, I love my son, and I know he knew better than what he, had got himself involved in.
Graham saw her son in a crowd of young people near Mondawmin Mall throwing rocks at police.
I was going through something at the time. A lot of my friends was abused and other things by the police and the law, and I guess that's what we was all out there for.
Graham told Singleton that morning to come straight home from school and not get involved. She went to Mondawmin after hearing school had let out early, hoping to not find him in the crowd, and yanked him up. Better her than police.
He could have injured one of those police officers, and they could have retaliated just by instinct, not because they police, but because they're human beings, because he had a big rock.
I always say it was tough love. You feel me? Because, like she say, all them things could have happened. I could have been another victim to society.
Get over here now!
That moment in time put Graham and her son in the spotlight. They were on national news and talk shows, going to places they'd never been to, New York and Hollywood. Trips they were grateful for, but a lot of unkept promises were made for housing, scholarships, and mentoring programs for Singleton.
Michael was angry. Michael was very angry. He was very upset because he was promised so many things.
It hurt me as a young guy.
Singleton dropped out of high school but did get his GED. He has several jobs but is now focused on making music. One song is called Try and Blow.
Trying to be big, I want to be remembered for something other than this ride that they keep on talking about.
He's made music videos. Many of them feature his mother.
But she told me stay focused.
You got the opportunity to do things.
And Singleton has found a mentor in Baltimore anti-violence activist and youth advocate running for mayor, Carmichael Stokey Kennedy. He's appeared in his campaign videos about getting young people to vote. Kennedy says young black men use rap to vent.
So if you can find a way to collaborate with young individuals who have similar experiences such as yourself, I think it's a proper and excellent platform to do so.
Helped me change my life.
How?
He got me into like voting. I voted, registered to vote. I talk to him on a daily basis, like on some big brother, little brother type stuff.
Singleton says he gets discouraged by all of the young friends he has lost, more than he can count on two hands. All have died of senseless violence. He hopes music can be his ticket out of poverty and Charm City.
I'm trying to make it out, trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of Baltimore City. It ain't too hard to get into it though.
But it's hard to get out.
It's hard to get out.
Graham says she doesn't think Baltimore has gotten better since the riots. She thinks it's gotten worse. And every day Singleton leaves the house, she is terrified.
All I could do is make a phone call to him now. And it's scary. It's scary as a mom because you want him to be out there in society, but you know everything that's going on. And I'm scared for my son.
So she does all she can to keep her children close and works hard to provide for them. Lisa Robinson, WBAL, TV 11 News.